this video, we will show how to properly set up a new McDonald's LOV control panel after it has been replaced or upon startup for a new fryer. Once we turn the power switch on the control panel, it's going to ask us for a setup code. The code will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is where we can begin to start to go through the control panel to set it up. The first one is going to ask us for the language. We can scroll left or right through the different types of languages. Once we get it selected, then we can go to our next step by pressing the down arrow button. We can select our zone by using, again, the left to right. We are in the USA, so we'll select. We can do our temp format or Fahrenheit. Then we can set up our time format, whether we want a 12-hour time or a 24-hour time. Generally, we will use the 12. This is where we can go ahead and enter our exact time of where we're at. Our current time is 1:52, so I'll use the product buttons below here to go ahead and enter that. Once I have that selected, then I'll go ahead and hit the down button to go to my next step. And this is where I need to select AM or PM, and then press the down button again. And this takes us to our date format. Here we can select US or international. So we can select that, go to our next step. And then this is where we can go ahead and enter our date. Our current date is 12/15 of 21. So we'll use the product buttons below again to go ahead and enter that. Once we have that selected, we'll push the down button again. This is where we can select our fryer type, whether it's electric or gas. This particular unit is electric, so we'll go to our next step. Here we have vat type. This is important because we have full vats and then we have split vats. This particular unit is a full vat, so we'll move to our next step. This is where we need to set the fryer up for whether it has bulk dispose and what type of bulk dispose it has. Here we have none, or we can go to RTI, which a lot of McDonald's stores have the RTI bulk system, so if it did, we could select that. Or we could select just the rear option if they did not have RTI, or front. So for this particular one, we'll go ahead and select RTI. Now we need to set up whether it has bulk oil supply or not. This is going to be a simple no or yes answer. So in this case, we do, so we'll go ahead and select yes. Move to our next step. And here we can select our daylight savings time, whether that's going to be for the US, for Europe, or others. So for here, we'll go ahead and select the US. Move to our next step. This is going to be oil quality enabled. This is always going to be no. So we'll go ahead and move to our next step. TPM max is always going to be at 24. And then the TPM warning is always going to be at 20. So we'll go ahead and go to our next step. And as we can see now, we have successfully completed the startup for this new control panel, and it goes back to our off screen. Once we turn it on and it gets all the way up to set point temperature, then it will display our cook cycles.